Hello, everyone. How you doing? You're very welcome to this week's rugby view with myself, Aidan Raftery, and of course, as always, from Craig's Rugby Club to talk about all things rugby, we have Adrian Leddy. Hello, Adrian. How are you? Are you well?
Good afternoon, Aidan.
Great to have you on board as always, and there's plenty to be talking about, and of course, we kick off as we always do with the mini rugby. And was there any? Is there any blitz? Is there anything coming up this weekend, or how did last weekend go for the mini rugby?
Well, last weekend it ended up as a training session, but a very enjoyable training session. And actually, they enjoyed mucking around on the grass pitches, and youngsters who wants to get out there, they seem to enjoy it. We had blitz planned, but unfortunately, with the atrocious weather conditions and the amount of rainfall that we have, a lot of grass pitches across the province are really taking a hammer, and quite a lot of games have been postponed. And yeah, it's just a difficult time, and thankfully we have the advantage of having the 4G pitch, and it's able to take a lot of games. And I was out there last Saturday now, and I seen the full traffic with mini rugby and a lot of grass pitches, and then we had a visiting team from Virginia playing then an under 13 side, and they played on the green on the grass pitch, and you'd hardly know one side from the other by the end of the game. But they seemed to enjoy it and got involved in it. And at the same time, we had an under 14 game going ahead on the 4G pitch against Clamara. So, between the mini rugby and the amount of youth games that take place out there in Saturday, you wouldn't get parking in. My own son is involved. My eldest son, as you well know, Hugh, is involved with Virginia, and they were over with the team. And it was just he was amazed to see the full car park and the extended car park all full. So it just shows it's a great the interest in it and the enthusiasm in it, and it's also a great social occasion on a Saturday morning, meeting all the people from the different clubs, and all our own parents and so on out watching their son or daughter playing rugby as well.
That's it, and it's great to see the level of enthusiasm in the club for rugby and the hunger, but not just I suppose Craig's, but the hunger in other clubs, which can be seen in the amount of clubs that take part in these blitzes in Craig's and the other teams when you travel away to blitzes as well. It's great to see it, and the future of rugby in the West seems to be in good hands anyway.
Well, it has grown, and I have talked to some of the youth coaches, and I talked to the under 14 coach there on Saturday. I sat down with him, and he was just saying to me that they have so many players that it's nearly impossible. They had to sort of pick two squads, and they haven't enough to put in two teams. But at the same time, they just had to pick a particular team and say that the other squad of players would get a game the following week, and that's the situation when you were up on 40 players for one team. So and again, it was the nice thing about it was Aidan, was to see a lot of the players that didn't get the game and weren't talked out, that they came out to support their friends as well. And I thought that was a very nice touch to see fellow players at that age group at under 14 level coming out to support. They weren't taking the hump that they weren't picked or they weren't getting a game. They were there in as part of the team and part of Craig's and the support for Craig's.
And I suppose as a byproduct of that, I suppose, like you were saying, they mightn't have been playing last weekend, but they know that they'll get a game next weekend. So it balances itself out that way over the season.
It does, yeah, it does. And that was the reason that Virginia Rugby came over with the under 13 side, that they had a sort of weakened side, and they were lads that weren't getting the game, and we had similar. And it was an opportunity for the two teams to run out, and a big thank you to the Virginia Rugby Club, to the coaches, management, and to the players for coming over. They play their rugby, even though they're on the Leinster border. They play their rugby in Ulster Rugby, and they're well used to travelling. So it was no different coming over to Craigs than probably having to travel up to Limavady or Coleraine or Ballymoney or different place, Ballymeen or whatever in Ulster. So it was just lovely to see them there on the day. And again, it's a good run out for the teams, and our under 14s had a lovely win against Claremorris at home in the league. A nice team now. I watched them, a few strong players on the team, and they'll probably be levelled up as they go up to a higher division. That's what happens when you sometimes you can have a strong player at under 14 level, but then that balances out when they go up into under 15s and 16s later on. And then our under 14s lost out narrowly to Westport, and our under 16s had their first league outing, and they were away to Ballina and got a narrow win. So that was great to start off the league for our 16s, and particularly playing an established club like Ballina, who is no more than Sligo, very strong at youth rugby, and it's just nice to get a first win. And our under 17s again playing another senior club. They had a convincing league win over Galwegians. So all was good on the youth rugby at the weekend. Our under 16 girls lost out narrowly to Westport. So just when you go down through the teams and see them involved and see the coaches involved and the enthusiasm with the teams, you think watching the other under 14 game on the pitch on Saturday, you would think that was a World Cup game, that some of our lads were getting so excited on the sideline and so on. But they're just all involved and want all for the players and for them to improve and the betterment, and giving them all a role. And that's the great thing about rugby, that it gives an opportunity to all players, and whether they're strong or weak, and it's amazing how some players may not develop at that age until later on in life. They may not develop till 16, 17. And like I seen when I was in secondary school myself, that I went in as a big 6-footer at 13 years of age into secondary school. And then by the time fifth year came around in the 80s, those lads had passed me out. So that's the way, the different ways in the young lads and that they develop, and we see that throughout the years, and they're developing into their 20s, really.
And of course, the byproduct of that is, the coaches from the mini rugby to the various underage level teams in both boys and girls. It's great for the coaches and indeed the supporters to see the potential that's there for the future of the club that'll be going into obviously the development side, the development second side, and the first team that's there for the first team in the future, which is great to see as well.
Oh, absolutely. And you would love to see a lot of these developing and continuing in the sport, and you'd like to think that they would get the same enjoyment out of it in their 20s as they're getting out of it now at 13 and 14 and 15 years of age. So in another 10 years we would be hoping that they would be them lads would be part of our senior team. And that's, as you rightly says, that's where it's at, and the growth there. Some of them will probably move on to other clubs, some of them will move on to universities, some of them will immigrate. Like we have lost a number of players from the first team this year that decided to go to Australia, and I suppose you can't blame them. Some of these would have probably gone earlier only for COVID, and now you can see more and more people just leaving. A lot of them just go for the 2 years, and then they're back. And we would hope that some of them would continue to play rugby in Australia or Canada or wherever they go, and that they'll come back to Craig's when they come back.
And that's it, and that's what it's all about. And that brings us into the, I suppose, into the adult section now. And it was great to see the development side, or the second side, get to start their season again.
Yeah, absolutely. And get a win. It's never easy. Ballina would be to be a second side to the AIL team, so they'll have a lot of players there that would be up and down on their first team playing a high level of rugby at AIL level, and for our seconds and development team to perform the way they did and come away with a win was fantastic. And I only hope that is the turning point for that team. There was a great turnout of lads. There was up on 25 players travelled to Ballina, and it's great to have that strength and depth. I know we had no first team game at the weekend, and this weekend will probably test us that we have that for that team. They play Our Ladies Boys Club in Craig's today, Saturday, and then tomorrow, Sunday, we play our first team plays College away. So that's a vital game for both teams. And for our first team, after the loss against Connemara, we need to get back on the horse again. And College ran Connemara very closely. There was only a kick of a ball between the two teams on the night, so there'll be no pushover. So our lads would just want to be aware of that and be more up for the game than they were and against Connemara, and get stuck in from the very start.
And of course, like you'd like to think that, as they always do, because they're a very good group of lads, the first team, they would have learned a lot from that defeat against Connemara. And, because they had that weekend off, they would have had plenty of time to kind of work on those little things that maybe went wrong against Connemara. And they can hopefully ensure that, even though they're playing OLBC, that they'll make sure that those mistakes don't resurface again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like we have two players coming, the captain Brian Diffley, and players coming back from injuries, and we should have a stronger side on Sunday. So let's hope that we will come away from Dangan in Galway with the league win, because it's important that you get these particular wins, because in a small league, confined league, and with teams winning and losing, there's not a lot of distance between the top teams and the bottom teams. So it's important that Craigs would put a few wins together now.
And of course, like with away games being very difficult as well, especially against the likes of I suppose Connemara and other teams in the division. It's, I suppose, that the key to having a good season maybe is points wise is actually trying to win all your home games. Not always easy, but if you can get if you can win your home games, then it gives good momentum to maybe pick off points away as well. But that's kind of the nucleus of doing well in the season, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
And,
yeah. It's very important, Aidan. You're hitting the nail on the head there. It's very important that that we do get the momentum going and the momentum going in the league. But it's good to have a second side doing well. It will help to put a bit of pressure on some of the players on the first team players as well. So it's good to have that panel of players between the first and second side.
And of course, that takes us on to maybe just before we move on to the AIL. I suppose the the ongoing development of the facilities and the fabulous facilities, it has to be said, in Craig's Rugby. They're really going afoot now, and there's huge progress being made there.
Yeah, their progress is continuing there. Slowly but surely, we're getting there, but it'll still take a while before we'll be able to open the new facilities of the changing rooms and the gym. And it mightn't make this season, but we're very hopeful that we will have it open for the interpro between Connacht Juniors against Leinster.
That would be great, and of course the lotto is a very successful part of your fundraising as well as the brilliant businesses and sponsors that you have at the club as well.
Well, you need them all, and we are very appreciative of the support that we get from all our sponsors in various forms. Also to all the people that contribute in the lotto. And like we had various types of draws, scratch cards and so on. And we will probably run another draw, probably maybe in the new year, in order to have sufficient funds to finish off the clubhouse. So these are all things that we need the support of the community and to have the type of facilities that we have there. And you will always have to have sufficient funds for development, because particularly in relation to even the grass pitches, they all need work every summer in the closed season, in whether slitting them, putting in sand, to give better drainage going forward. Because with the type of rainfall that we seem to be getting at the moment, you do need to have free drain and soil, and with the compaction of playing so much games on the pitches, they need to be opened up and allowed to free drain themselves, and the water to disappear as quickly as possible off the top of the surface.
And of course, that's a testament to the great work done by the brilliant volunteers in the club.
Yeah, you see, a lot of the volunteers and people came in behind the whole development there and did Trojan work themselves in putting their shoulder to the wheel, and that cut down our costs considerably with the earlier development of the pitches.
And of course, that takes us on now to AIL level, and of course, the likes of Buccaneers, Carrick Rugby Club, and Sligo and other teams, Galwegians and Corinthians and all that. How are things going at the AIL clubs based in the West?
Yeah, they in overall they had a very good week. Buccaneers kept up their winning ways. Buccaneers, Galwegians, Corinthians, and Sligo, they all perform well. Ballina, unfortunately, is struggling. Ballina have only got one win so far, so Ballina will need to be picking up points. And like last season, they struggled at the beginning of the season and turned it around in the second part of the season. So you just hope that Ballina and other teams will get sufficient points and that they're to stay up. These are tough leagues, and every game is hard fought, and Buccaneers are finding it hard in the division that they're in at the present time, and they rely very heavily on Connacht players. So they just need to have their full squad to compete. But to get a win over Old Wesley was a feather in their cap, and let's hope that they can put a few more wins together. There's no AIL now this weekend, so that will give them a break, and let's hope that the overall development will work well for them. Now, in relation to Carrick and Shannon, who's a junior side in the same division as Craig's second side, and they had a win over the team we're playing on this evening, That's against Our Lady Spy Club, and Carrick had a win. It was a tough first half, and then they turned the game around in the second half. So, Carrick again is progressing well there, and we will come up against them probably in a week or two's time, and again, we'll have to see how we do this evening against Boys Club, and then we'll be ready for Carrick-on-Shannon as well. So it'll be the local derby. It'll be very interesting as well. So it's good to see.
That's it. And of course, that brings us on to Connacht itself, and obviously the first team, and of course, all the underage teams. But it was good. It was good to see Connacht getting a win over in South. First win, I think, of two. They have another match in South Africa as well. So I think for this leg of the season, given that they're playing two games in South Africa, it was key to get a win there, and that's good momentum going into the second game.
Yeah, they travelled over. They have a lot of supporters over as well, and like it was great for Connacht to get that particular win, and they stuck it out. They played very well. It wasn't a pretty game by any means, but it was a tough, hard game as you will know that you will get in South Africa, and probably lucky enough for Connacht that the international players weren't back with the squad. They have kept them. Given them a few more weeks off after winning the World Cup, so you'd have to respect that it's hard after the excitement and the tour of South Africa that they did when they came back, that they needed a few extra weeks. So, but again, to get a win over the Sharks in Durban on Saturday was good. Now they travel up to Pretoria for the game today, and they take on the Bulls. And the Bulls, as we know, are by name they're going to be another tough side. There's no easy side when you travel over to South Africa, and whatever about getting them, playing them when they travel over here. But when you have to travel over there and play them and to get back-to-back results, it will be a tremendous achievement for Connacht. And to see them up there, nearly the third there in the table on points, it's great to see that they have only so far lost one game, and all the teams at the top have actually lost one game. So we're Connacht, if they were able to put this game today away against the Bulls, it would keep them up there, and then the big showdown will be in the sports ground when they come back against Leinster. You have Leinster and Munster featuring today again in the Aviva Stadium. Leinster and Munster, probably Leinster would look to have the strongest side, but you'll never write off a Munster team as they were showing in the URC final last year when they went over to play Stormers. Nobody fancied them, and they stuck it out and came away with a win. So it'll be just an interesting battle to see how that game goes. So, as you rightly said at the beginning of the program, Aidan, there's plenty juicy contests and that there to look forward to this weekend.
And of course, as well as that, just to this and that, but just to kind of point out again that loss against Edinburgh, Connacht were very, very unlucky in that game. It was only a kick of a kick in the match that separated the two teams, and they were very. You could say they were very unlucky not to win that game.
Yeah, I suppose you take your luck, and we had the luck against Sharks. They missed two kicks that I think you would put them over yourself, Aidan, in your sleep. So the two out halves. They had a nightmare. It was kicks, straight in front of goals mainly, and they missed them, and that was crucial for them. So again, when we lost out in Edinburgh to a drop goal, a draw would have been probably a fair result. But again, you have to be able to close out a game, and we gave them that opportunity for the drop goal, and we paid the price.
And of course, as well as that, with other teams, we'll maybe discuss Leinster, Munster, and Ulster as well, and how they got on.
Yeah, as I say, the three sides are doing well at the present time. So there's not a lot. The four Irish sides are up there, and it just shows where Irish rugby is at the moment, Aidan. So it will be interesting to see how as now that internationals are all coming back into the teams, how the second part of the season will shape up, and it's these couple of games now that before we get into the European Cup games, that it'll be nice to see that in Connacht in particular would be up there within the, say, top four, for instance, with going into the European games, and then you're have a couple of European games in December and a couple of them in January. So that will probably take the focus a bit away from the URC for them couple of weeks.
And of course, like there's European games coming up as well, and I suppose the great thing for us all us Connacht fans is to see how far Connacht has come. We say compared to maybe last year or a couple of years before that, and where they are now, where they are seriously competing in the URC. It's great to see the huge difference and the strides they have made. I suppose you could pay that. I suppose part of that would be down to the coaching that has been done with the side as well, and how far they've come on. But I suppose you could say also some clever signings and players brought up from the academy as well, because they have, as we know, they have a quality academy process as well.
I think your last point is what has made the difference. I think that we have brought in a few quality players, and we have brought in a few to bulk up the side, and they have made the difference. And we have the two Irish internationals to come back into that side in Bunyaki and Hansen, and let's hope that they'll be fit and well to come back in maybe for the Leinster game. So it's all it's all ahead, and it's all in relation to the squad, and kind of with the smaller squad of the four provinces. That's we don't want to. We're not here. Number one, we're not here to rest the players for as long, and number two, that if we do get injuries, it weakens our panel of players, and it means that some players would end up playing nearly every game. And you need to be giving players a rest maybe after a couple of weeks, so and bringing in fresh players. So they're trying to rotate the team as well as possible, like they had rotated it well for the Edinburgh game, and then they rotated again for the game last Saturday. And I haven't seen the selection yet for today.
And I mean, we did point out a couple of injuries, that we have had, I suppose, one or two from the Ireland team have returned injured and things like that, and it's been a hectic schedule for them. But isn't that credit to Connacht themselves and the performances that they have been putting out? That even with injuries, they're still able to get results, with obviously the exception of the Edinburgh game, but they have been doing well, and been thereabouts, and mixing it with the best in Europe and the best in the world. The South African teams actually being one of them, so it's great to see it.
Absolutely, Aidan, and some players have put their hand up for places on the team, and there will be a lot of competition for places.
That's it. Well, listen, thanks very much, Adrian, for taking the time out to do Rugby View with us, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thank you again, Aidan.
No problem. Thanks very much. And that was myself and Adrian Leddy talking about all things rugby.